What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Batman Arkham Knight Batman figure. Here I have the Arkham Knight Batman in the packaging. You can see he does come with a batarang. His looks like a grapple gun, and even though you can't see it that well, an extra hand. Here we have Batman in the packaging. On the side, a nice graph drawing of Batman. And on the back, we have a nice little arrangement of Series 1. It just says Batman at the top. Then the other four figures in Wave 1, which is Batman, the Arkham Knight, Scarecrow, and Harley Quinn. Surprisingly, at the time of making this video, the Arkham Knight is not available. There's actually only 3 figures out, 4 if you include Red Hood. That's a little strange to me, but what I'm going to do now is take a little break, get him opened up, and we'll go on to the rest of his review, so sit tight, everyone. And so here we have Batman posing out of the packaging. Now let's get a good 360 of this guy. Right off the bat, I'm going to say he's a really nice figure. He's really well done, and we'll get more into that later. Just a really quick note, when I first opened Batman, this arm was incredibly stiff. Like, I couldn't move it for the life of me. But it's moving fine on its own. Like, I think it was just a lot of excess paint that seeped into the joint, which caused it to lock up, but it's good now, and you can see there's some paint from my hand, so that just shows you how much paint was actually in that joint. But before we get on to Batman, let's actually go on to some of the accessories he came with. In Batman, you'll get the standard batarang, and let's actually get a close-up of that batarang. You can still see some of the paint on my finger from Batman. No doubt this is the Arkham style batarang. I love the design of the Arkham batarangs. They're just really, really cool. It does have a lot of nice little detail in it. Then we also get this little accessory, which at first I thought it was a grapple gun, but it's actually the zip line that you get in Arkham Origins. So I'm guessing at some point Batman does get it in Arkham Knight. I don't know, the game is not out yet, and let's actually zoom out just a little bit. And he also does get a hand to hold the little gun, although it isn't the easiest thing to get in, but his fingers should go through, and I don't want to force it because I don't want to break it, and it does seem really brittle, but you can see Batman's fingers do slide in there. But like I said, it feels really brittle, so use caution when putting this accessory in and out of this hand. And it's just a glove. You can tell that it's the extra hand because the fingers are a little spaced. They're spaced more, I should say. Okay. Let's zoom the camera back out so we can go on to Batman, who, I'm going to say, just messing around with him, his joints feel like they're getting looser on me. Like, the more I mess around with the joints, the more it feels like it's getting loose. And I don't know if that's a reoccurring problem with DC collectibles. It's been a while since I've owned some DC collectibles, but let's get let's zoom in on that face. Really nice face sculpt, although, to be honest, the head seems just a little bit small for this sculpt. I mean, the head just feels small to me. I don't know if other people feel the same way, but you can see a lot of detail is in those shoulder pads, as well as the cape. And these are actually attached to the bicep, so they move with the bicep, not the shoulder, which is interesting. So if you move his arm up, it doesn't hinder the articulation, although it does bring up the problem that these don't sit flush all the time. The more you move them, the more you can see the problem. And even, he has some detail on the shoulders themselves. You can see like some armor design, some paneling. His cape, like I said, has a lot of nice detail on the armor bits. And then you can see it is divided by these little sections, which is pretty cool. It has a point at the end of it that we've come to know from Batman. I will say this, that it looks like there's a lot of paint missing from his torso. Prototype figures show that inside this panel lining should have been paint, but Every Batman I've seen is missing the paint in these panel linings, so I'm guessing they just decided to omit it, and you can kind of see the paint bleeding in to the panel linings there, but it should go all the way. And there is even some detail on the back, and it looks like the back got more detail, but more paint errors, as you can see. Just really interesting that they would detail the back more than the front. I wonder why they did that. There's the utility belt, which you can see is sculpted and painted wonderfully. It does look a little off-centered on mine, and it's not something that I can fix right away. But once again, this little beehive pattern goes along his legs, and you can see some scratches on his greaves. There's not too many on his gauntlets, which surprises me a little. But that's Batman's detail, and what I'm going to do now is have a rundown of his articulation. Okay, I haven't collected DC collectibles in quite some time, but it seems like they have really stepped up their articulation, and that paint on my finger is going to be bothering me all night long now. What I mean by that is he has a ball-jointed head. He can look up slightly, down slightly, turn his head left and right, as well as tilt his head, which it looks like he gets more tilt than he does actual up and down movement. Arms are on a ball joint, so they can do a full 360, not at all hindered by the shoulder pads. As you saw, they go out. He spins at the bicep. He is double jointed at the elbow, so that's really nice. He spins and bends at the wrist. This one's really tight, but you can see it bends. He has a torso crunch, so it goes forward and back pretty far. I don't know if Batman would really need to look up that far, and like I said, it feels like it's getting looser the more I mess around with it. He spins at the waist. Let's go forward, back, and out. These are made of soft rubber, and maybe that can move it. Nope, can't do it. He spins at the thigh. He is double jointed in the knee. You can see there's one bend here, one bend there. And then his ankles are actually pretty cool. They're on a hinge right here. They also rotate, giving him a rocker, and you just see that big glob of paint that fell out of his ankle. Okay, they have the hinge, the rocker, but they also swivel. This joint right here does spin. It's a little stiff on mine, but yeah, you can see it spin. He spins at the foot. Hinge, so you can get him in a lot of nice poses. Really articulated Batman. I really do love this figure, and this is probably going to be one of my best Batman figures that I own. Okay, but with that out of the way, let's go on to my final thoughts and wrap up this review, so we can, well, wrap up the review. So sit tight, everyone. And so here we have Batman posed from our final thoughts, and overall, I really do like this figure. It's got me amped to see what the other figures in the line look like, and he's just a really well done figure. He is lacking some paint detail, which I wish they would have done, but I'm guessing because he got mass produced that they weren't able to do that due to, financial reasons. But I am overall happy with this Batman. He more than exceeded my expectations, especially for being a DC collectible figure. I actually picked this Batman up at GameStop, and he's running me about $25 from local comic book stores and GameStop. That's about the price you're paying for these DC collectible figures. If you can track down this Batman, I highly recommend you pick him up, especially if you're a fan of the Arkham series. Like I said, his proportions at the head seem a little bit off, but I'm not one to judge right now. If you can find this guy, pick him up. You won't be disappointed, especially if you're a Batman fan or an Arkham fan. And this is King of Dragons 5000 saying I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.